Right, we are live for another Market Update Monday here on the Arrow Title Services page. Woo-hoo, it's Monday, hey. And we are talking about what we talk about every time we come on to Market Update Monday, but with all of the real estate changes that are going on, there are so many ways to update you guys. So every other Monday, we come on here for Market Update Monday with local realtors who are sharing with you guys the ins and out of the market, what's going on, how things are moving, what sellers should be aware of in this type of market, and so much more. And you guys are actually able to ask us questions throughout this if you guys are watching us live. And if you have questions afterwards, you're always able to reach out to these amazing local professionals on their Facebook pages that are linked below in the description of this video. So we run this Market Update Monday in 3 different parts. The first portion is we talk about the market, how things are going. Each of the realtors get to put their portion on what's going on, as well as then we have a discussion portion about what, changes we're seeing and how people are responding, as well as just how things are kind of moving. So the second portion is then what listings they have or what's on the market right now. So those are ever changing. We all know listings are going crazy, but maybe someone hasn't heard it out there. So we'll give them a little hint into that. And then the third portion will be any announcements these local realtors have in the crazy market. Everybody's got something coming up. So it's always great information all the way throughout. And I'm excited to have these local professionals come on to share their big brains. And again, you guys can always ask your questions and engage with the conversation here that we are having today. So we will start with Peter. Peter, what are you seeing in the market? How are things changing and fluctuating? And what's some advice you can give to any sellers out there?
Well, any sellers who are currently looking, or any buyers who are currently looking around, have most likely run into some tough times. For everyone who has put an offer in on a property, depending on the property, most of those offers go without any kind of contract at this point, which is sad. I have looked up some numbers for Martin County and for St. Lucie County, and it's crazy. Martin County is fairly normal. You're looking at an inventory down about 49% over the last 11 months, which is fairly normal with a lot of the United States. Active list median price went from $395 actually down to $380, based on the fact that the absorption rate is dropped from 4.9 to 1.72. 1.72 months in Martin County. If no other properties came on the market, every property would be gone. St. Lucie County paints really an incredible picture. Active median list price went from $259 to $295.9 in 11 months. That went up over 14%. That's pretty ridiculous. That's the list, but check out the sold. 230 11 months ago, and now the sold median is 288.5. That is an increase of 25% in less than a year. Absolutely ridiculous. If you're taking buyers around, you've probably experienced what this crutch is doing. 3.76 months. 3.76 months was the absorption rate 11 months ago, and now we're down to 1.5 months. It is truly a seller's market. If you are a seller or thinking about becoming a seller and are sitting on the fence waiting to see how this plays out, let me just tell you that this is not the time to sit on the fence. Now is the time to act. No inventory. The inventory in St. Lucie County is down 53% over 11 months. It's really a time where a lot of people looking for houses. There just aren't many houses on. There aren't enough houses on the market for everybody. I'll say that.
Yeah, absolutely, Peter. It's definitely a problem that we didn't foresee happening because of COVID, right? It's an interesting issue to be combating right now. And I think that, there's a lot of reasons why people are staying here, or staying in their homes, or, maybe afraid to sell, maybe trying to make that move, but they're not quite sure how. So those are some great numbers to go over so that people really get the idea of these numbers and how they are piece together with the market and how they've actually changed over the last year. And we'll get into the discussion portion, but great start to that conversation. Thank you so much, Peter, as always. All right, so we will go to Demitri. Demitri, what are you seeing? What do you have to add to the conversation?
Well, I want to tell you, so Peter said we're definitely in a seller's market, and we are. I want to rename it. I want to rename the market to buyer's desperation market, because that's where we are. The inventory is so low that buyers are basically desperate to find a house, A, that they can afford, B, that is available, that they can get to now, and C, they don't have to do a lot of work to, because a lot of the things that are left, even though we have inventory on the market, a lot of that stuff has been picked over and not taken because it is in bad shape. It needs a lot of work, needs a lot of updates, and people are passing over it. Besides buyers, we also have renters. Renters are not finding properties either. I've got quite a few renters that just are not finding anything that they can rent as well on the market, because they're going just as fast as a house for sale. It's on a few hours and it is gone. So that's what I have to add.
Absolutely. And I think we'll get into some of that too when we get into the discussion portion. But yeah, definitely. What a great rename for it. Definitely relevant. So thanks for adding that, Demitri. We're going to go to Stacy, and can't wait to hear what you have to add to that, Stacy, and then we'll open up for discussion. And again, if you guys are in the audience and listening, feel free to drop a comment if you have questions about the market or things that you want us to discuss. But yeah, go ahead, take it away, Stacy.
Hope everyone's having a great Monday. I want to piggyback a little bit off of what they just said, just as a small example. So this Friday, the past Friday, I had an open house from 3 to 7 p.m. on my new listing that we put up on Wednesday evening. So literally within 5 minutes of me putting this on the MLS, I had about 10 calls from agents that were sending me blind offers, okay? So, and we can get into how doing a blind offer is not a good idea later on in the segment. But for now, let's just focus on the buyer desperation, which he was mentioning. So obviously I didn't accept any offers until we did the open house, because it's wise to actually see the house prior to putting in your offer. So while I was there though, I had this very nice couple, and she introduced herself. She said, what's your name? And I said, my name's Stacy Kartner. And what's your name? And she said, I'm tired. I'm tired of looking at houses. I'm tired of putting in offers. And I really just want to buy this house. What do I need to do? And it was really hard for me to tell her, what exactly you need to do, because the agent's there. And sometimes the agents aren't actually guiding them in the right direction, because it's not always about the price. It's more about the terms in which you need to agree upon to make it a competitive offer. And like I said in one of the other lives that I did with Lucy, is the loan commitment period is really, really important. Under a week for your inspection is really, really important. And it's just getting to the point where people are just desperate to buy a house. And I had a total of 17 offers on that house, even though I did an open house on a Friday evening. And it breaks my heart to tell 16 people that they can't have this house. And so it's really a crazy market that we're in right now. And luckily for people that are listing houses, it's a really good time, but buyers are having a really, really hard time. So my only advice is try to get feedback from the listing agent on how you could improve your offer, and maybe work with a lender that understands the loan commitment periods and some little finite details. So that's my little expert advice for today.
I love that, Stacy. And that actually is a great segment into the discussion portion of our topic here of just sellers, how the market is going, and how we can best give information to people out there. So when it comes to a good offer for sellers, I mean, there are good offers, there's great offers, there's everything in between. And being competitive, you named off some of the things that people really have to pay attention to. And you know, I've heard a lot about people using or trying to do for sale by owners, or buyers just trying to go out there and buy homes on their own. But in this type of market, with how competitive it is and those terms that you're talking about on the contract, someone who isn't familiar with contracts and isn't familiar with the process and the day-to-day and what is more competitive and what isn't, you're more likely to get screwed if you don't have a realtor on your side that's helping guide you through all of the little nooks and crannies of contract. Also, how sellers can be proactive in it too, and how are you guys guiding these sellers through this strenuous time?
You're absolutely right, Lucy. I would say there is one house just down the street from me. They put on their property, put it on the market for sale by owner. Nice property. I'm sure they redid it very well on the inside, but it is a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1-car garage, not more than 1,500 square feet. And they put up their little for sale by owner sign with the $395,000 price tag, which if you would speak with any real estate professional, you would realize these people, God bless them, they have no idea what they're doing, and they're not going to get anyone interested in their property with that. I've walked by their house a couple times simply to see if there might be the opportunity to ask them how they came upon that number and see if I might be able to educate them. But that has not happened at this point. This is almost like in the stock market, you can tell when things are getting overheated by the fact that everybody is confident that the market is moving in the right direction and no one is scared. And it's seeing things like this that remind me of, if you guys will just bear with me for a minute, it reminds me of happy days back when I was a kid and watching Fonzie jump the shark. It's to a certain point, it's painful. You watch it, you don't really want to see it, but you kind of have to see what's going on. It's ugly. It's not going to end well for them. I can tell that. If that's really where they think they should be, they're not going to be happy when this all ends. And I kind of got sidetracked there. I apologize for that. No. But it's a tough market, and you really do, if you're thinking of selling, ask one of these guys on the show. I've run into Stacy at so many open houses. It's almost ridiculous. Demitri, true professional as well. Take some time, talk to a realtor who you know, and ask them about what the benefits and maybe the detriments are of you considering putting your house on the market. Where would you go later? There are a lot of different sides, but if you are thinking of selling, I have not seen any time like this where sellers can basically set the price, and for the most part, the sales I've seen especially in St. Lucie County, your offer has to be 10 grand above the list price just to be considered. I went last week with a full price cash offer and got shot down, and that was very tough to tell my buyers that their cash offer was not good enough. Yeah,
cash isn't always king and everything, right? So especially when people are promising over appraised value and everything like that, which is kind of a crazy twist to it all. Go ahead, Demitri. I saw you unmute.
Yes. So, one thing Stacy said about having 16 people having to tell them, I'm sorry you didn't win. People probably don't realize how emotional that is for us, because it's like, we got to really break really bad news, because people have all of their hopes and dreams on the fact that, hey, this house I found, I finally fell in love with it. I really want to buy it. And they got all psyched up, did their contract and put it in, just to have to be told no. It affects us as well. So this market, being so crazy is interesting in the huge number of offers we're giving, but it's also, it's the huge amount of disappointment we have to deliver as well. So, so I think all buyers agents that are out there feeling that same, that same piece, it wears on you. I've talked to quite a few other agents as well. And many of us are probably on, private Facebook groups with different realtor groups. And I've noticed over the last few weeks, a lot of the posts there are agents saying, man, this market is so crazy. I'm just having to stop. I can't take this emotional roller coaster of what's going on. I'm going to pause for a little while. So I can definitely see that, and probably, I'm sharing this because while I realize we're targeting a lot of buyers and sellers out there, I'm hoping to give them a little insight into our side of it as well, as to that it's not just them that this market is taking a toll on, it is on our side as well. So I just wanted to share that. Yeah,
no, I love that, Demitri. And that's important for people to understand, like, this is the biggest decision that they're ever making, but we're like right there in it with them. Emotionally, realtors play a very big part of the emotional roller coaster that people are going through, whether, getting the deal, getting everything done, making sure everything's done in a proper way. You guys wear many different hats. And sometimes those hats include therapists.
All the time.
Yes. Did you have something to add, Stacy? Sorry.
Well, yeah, I was just, obviously piggybacking a little bit again, but it's very emotional, and it's very stressful, especially when we see the joy in those people's eyes when they come to that open house or you do that showing for them. And they're, for example, on Friday, I mean, this house had a playground in the backyard, and there were kids going and playing on the playground, and, and the kids are like, I want my house. This is my room. Like, it's not easy to do something like that. But at the same time, I have to represent the seller in the best manner. And it's not always about the price either. It's making the best terms possible to make the transaction go as easy and seamless as you possibly can. And that is probably the most difficult thing right now. And using a realtor that is experienced and knowledgeable in the local area is, I mean, it's the most important thing you could do. So when we have people that are coming from out of town that are using their tactics from wherever they're from and trying to get an offer accepted here in this market, they have no idea what they're up against, because these local realtors in the St. Lucie County and Martin County, basically Treasure Coast area, we deal with this every day. But if we get people from out of town, Chobe or down south, I mean, they don't know the animal that we're dealing with here. And having to sort through 16, 17, 25 offers and making the spreadsheet and doing all that work, it's a lot. And that's just the tip of the iceberg on where we start. But as a listing agent, you have to make sure that you provide that service for the sellers and you break it down so they can make the best decision possible, because it's not up to me. It's up to them. But part of our job is to not be so emotional, because we have to be the professional. We are not here to play on your emotions. Like, some people are writing these love letters all of a sudden to get their offer accepted. And it's clear it's a violation of some article, I don't know which one, but of the code of ethics. And it's very hard not to read those letters and to get emotionally attached to some of these. But as professionals, we have to do what's right for our sellers. And the same token for the buyers, but the ball is in the seller's court. So that's why you have to make the best offer up front, because there's really no negotiating after that first offer. So
yeah, absolutely. And that's when all those terms come into play too, because the realtors who are local to the area and know the ins and outs of the area, know maybe professionals that they can be connecting with, making sure you have a short inspection period, and knowing a local professional that can do that and manage that, having the conversation before you put in your offer. How quickly can you get an inspection done? Can you get that done in 2 days, 3 days? Like, when's the next available? If I put this offer in today, when can you be there?
Yeah, have the inspector pencil you in and just say, hey, if I get my offer accepted tomorrow, can you do it on Wednesday? And if they say yes, they pencil me in. But if someone else comes along before you, then you're getting booted from that spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that, I mean, the local professionals knowing, well, and you guys tell me, I guess, if, when it comes to logistics wise, but if there's two offers that are exactly the same, there's a difficult line there, right?
I'll
So
tell you what the decision is on my part.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you actually fill in all the blanks on the contract, that's very important. You can't leave things up to interpretation. So I've had someone leave the seller's name off of the contract simply because they were too lazy to look it up and type it in there. And if you're going to be too lazy to type in a name or the seller's address or the buyer's address or fill in that, that 30 days for loan commitment or whatever you're going to put, make sure you're filling in all the blanks. Because if I have to come back and get another initial, I'm taking that other offer over yours that looks nicer and cleaner and more professional.
That's a good tip. There you go. Does anybody else have anything to add there? When you have two deals that are exactly the same, like what you guys are, how you guys project those?
Yeah. So if they have filled in all the blanks, which yes, that's very true. There's quite a few people that just don't go that little extra miles. Like they I don't know whether it's effort or knowledge. Most of the time, I think it's a combination of both. But the other thing I do is who got it to me first? What's the time stamp? When did I get it? First in, first out, right? So, so that's the other, default there. A lot of times too, especially if it's financing, I typically call all of the on the financing because I want to know from the lender standpoint, okay, what did you actually check? What's your gut? Are you really going to close this? And are you really going to get this done in the time frame? If you're telling me 20 days, I want to know what your history has been. Don't tell me 20 days because that's what they've asked for and that's what we put on the contract. I want to know in the last 5 closings that you did, how many days did it take you to get it done? Because in the end result, our responsibility to our seller is that it actually closes, that we're not doing continuous extensions. We're not breaking their heart when they've got all their anticipation. Hey, we're closing on the 20th just to find out. No, we're not. They're not ready. We got to close on the 28th. And then on the 27th, to have to tell them, no, they can't do this until the 5th. So, you don't want to go through that. So you got to do all that as well. And a lot of that really comes down to who's the lender. Are they, are they known? Are they obscure? And how well did they answer my questions on the
or
thing?
Do they answer at all?
Right. Yes. And if they don't
pick up the phone,
right, they don't pick up the phone, they don't answer me. I'm sorry, my confidence is about zero. I've already gone through enough deals already where the lender didn't answer, not only in the beginning, but not in the middle and not in the end either. So, and they never turned out well. So, yeah, that's another criteria.
Yeah.
And along those lines, I would say if you're looking for a house, shop around your lending options locally. I've had some people move from different parts of the United States, and I understand they have a relationship with their previous lenders who have gotten the job done for them before. But if there's one thing I've noticed recently, especially, it's that lenders from out of state have no idea what's going on in this market. And if you don't want to close on time, then that's okay. We can keep on throwing the addendums out, extending the time period. But for the most part, your local lenders around your area will have a much better finger on the pulse as to what's going on, what they need to do to get that job done and this deal closed when the contract says it should close.
At the end of the day, the seller has to agree to that addendum, right? So
that's true. Most of the time, if there is a contract, most of the time the sellers and buyers will do somewhat of a dance with each other as long as they believe that it's that everybody is on the level and not trying to play games. But but you're absolutely right, Lucy.
Yeah. So it's very interesting to see all of those different aspects. And I know that it's super easy for people to go online and to, figure out like, oh, well, Google says that I can get approved for this. And then you get connected with some lender that's out of the state or whatever it might be. But with the sellers getting 17 different offers, it really comes down to those little nitty-gritty details at the end of the day, making sure your offer is strong, making sure maybe even the list or the the buyer's agent is local and knows the market and can navigate the market, and that you know that there's a communication that's going to be there if they're trying to communicate with your realtor, that's there and that they're going to get an answer. So there's so many little pieces of it all. It really is interesting. But I know that it's really hard for some people to see that on the outside. You know, if you're not in the real estate industry, there's a lot of little facets that are happening. But I just think I want to put it out there for anybody who's watching, any buyers, sellers, being represented in this market by a local realtor is very important, and making sure that they're the ones that are what you guys have just mentioned time and time again. You guys are the ones representing these sellers, making sure that they understand what the differences between these offers are, because when people look at a contract now, like it's not very easy to just be like, oh yeah, this is what that is, and et cetera, et cetera.
No, you know, we do this every day, so we understand this. And people that, you know, buyers and sellers, people that don't live in the real estate world, they don't understand our language. Yes. So I even said to, you know, one of my sellers last week, I said, so they have $10,000 in escrow, and they're like, what does that mean? Yeah. Well, that means if they don't fulfill their contract, then you get that escrow deposit, because that's a good faith deposit. So, you know, and I explained more in detail on that, but, you know, they don't understand what we do. And sometimes that's okay, because they don't need to know everything that we do, but they need to know that we have their best interest in mind, and that we are doing the job to get us to the closing table as easy and seamless as possible. And it's really important that, oops, sorry, my phone just rang. So I got sidetracked, but yeah.
No, you're absolutely right, Stacy. I mean, it is very important for them to understand that. And you guys are a resource for them. You're not only a resource in navigating through the contracts, but anything that they need, if they need repairs done, whatever it might be, you guys are a resource that is local for them. And I think that a lot of people just don't realize the power behind that the reputation you guys have too, here locally, and making sure that you guys are taking care of everyone, because the people who are local are going to be more apt to want to help you, and they know that they have a reputation on the line. If you're talking to someone out of state or whatever it might be, or out of the area, they're less likely to be on your side fully, because they've got 1,000,001 whatever leads coming in from all over the place. So it's just a really great conversation to have, guys. You guys really gave some great advice. If you guys are just tuning in now and you haven't heard the conversation that we just had about the market and kind of the ways that sellers or how sellers agents are helping guide these sellers through this crazy time, definitely rewatch this. And if you have any questions, if you're rewatching this, please feel free to reach out to any of the amazing local professionals on here and ask them your questions. The conversation is always free. I remind people of that on a daily basis, because communication is important. If they're communicating with you, you want someone who's going to communicate with you through this entire process, especially with how go it is. Like, you need an answer now, not 3 days from now. So and all of these professionals on here will do just that for you. So they're great. And we're going to go on to the second portion, which is really interesting as well, to be able to see what's on the market, what things are going for, and what houses we're talking about here. So we're talking about how there's not much inventory out there, right? But there is some inventory, and just seeing what these prices are going for and kind of what the expectation is always a great way to see on here. So I look forward to it each time. So we will go ahead and start with Peter, and we can't wait to see what you have on the market to share with us today.
Well, thank you, Lucy. I will, let me see here.
No, you didn't. I have a question for you.
All right.
So can you guys see that?
Yep.
All right. I just want to kind of circle back and give you an idea. I'm a visual learner myself, so I love math, numbers, throwing them together, but they really make sense once you put them on the chart. And the difference between St. Lucie County and Martin County, I mean, this is pretty simple. This is the list price, median list price, and median sold price. Just going up and up and up in St. Lucie County to give you just a little bit of perspective, here is Martin County. The numbers are a little bit different, but the graph tells the story all by itself. Certainly the sold price is coming up. The list price is actually kind of coming down, but the amount of properties on the market are very, very slim. So that I'm giving you this information because honestly, this is the first time at the Bourgeois Real Estate Group, I have ever not had a listing that is active and current to share. So what I will do is I will show you this. This is currently under contract, but we're always looking for backup offers. It happens in the market. If you see a place you really like, you might want to see if a backup is possible. This is a beautiful little condo in Jupiter. It's right down in the heart of Abacoa, a 2-2. Looks absolutely beautiful. If you are looking in this area and haven't quite found what you're looking for, you might want to reach out and see if something doesn't happen with the current buyer. Maybe you can step in line as number 2.
Love that. No, that's great, Peter. And honestly, that's a great thing to bring up as well when it comes to the aspect of backup offers. So I think a lot of times people don't think to put in those backup offers, but they can be, I just bought a house recently and it wasn't a backup offer, but it was one of the offers that was there. It wasn't the technical backup offer. And it was like this whole situation. But those backup offers are a good backup plan, because there's sometimes, where Stacy mentioned it earlier, where sometimes people are seeing things without seeing it. Depending on how you guys are navigating those contracts and what contracts are being taken. Sometimes people have seen it, or maybe they have one counterpart that's here. Maybe it's a wife that's here, right? And they come down and see the house, and then they get a contract underneath it, and then the husband comes and the husband doesn't like it, or whatever it might be. If they have an inspection period, then they can walk away. So it's very important to have those backup offers, because it could definitely be a way that you get your house. Absolutely.
And along the same lines, Lucy, you always have a very nice sensibility about you. You're very pleasant to speak with, and you get along with everybody. I've run into a few people who, when they're aware that their offer was not the one that was picked, some people, very, very small percentage, I've seen them turn into a baby, and that ultimately means that if that first offer does not go through, you have completely reduced or eliminated the chances of that seller coming back to you. So you have to treat everyone with respect. You have to, this is what we do. This is the kind of thing that, it may seem like a small thing, but it's really in the big picture. This is one big sandbox we all have to play together in. And the best way to do it is to be nice, courteous, honest, and fly your flag.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Those little things really come down to the end of it all. It does. So thank you, Peter, for sharing that with us. And we will go to Demitri and see what he's got to share with us.
Well, I will tell you that like Peter, this is one of the first times I have to say, I don't have a listing either that's not pending. So it's, we're sold. In fact, I got one going tomorrow. I had one Friday. It's they're flying off the shelf, basically. But I did, actually, it's great that Peter brought up about the backups, because that is actually something I thought I would share, is that, the fact that if your offer is not accepted is to actually ask to be in a backup position, simply because it does two things. One, you have that chance of being, next on the line if it doesn't work with the first. But then more importantly, the seller doesn't have to put up with any antics with the first either, because they've got a backup. They got somebody else, especially if that backup is all cash. And so I've had a couple situations where we've done that, and it has worked out in our favor to do that. So so if you didn't get there in the first, definitely see about being in the backup position, especially because inventory is low. And then just the only thing in your backup contract, you just want to make sure that you have an out, so that if you find a house in the meantime that you do want to move on, you want to be able to get out of the backup without any problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for that, Demitri, and sharing that little bit with us, and the importance of those backups, and how they've worked out for some people. So that's great addition to the theme here. And Stacy, love to hear what you have to add as well.
So I'm going to be agent number 3 today that has no listings to share because they all have sold basically within a day or two. So I'm hoping to have some more in the near future, but at this very moment, I have nothing. But I do work at HomeCrete Homes with new construction, so I would like to share with you a small video. And I'm sorry, it's 3 minutes and like 40 seconds long. Is that okay?
That's all right. We'll look at it. We get to look at some house.
Yeah, we have to look at something. So I figured I'll supply something. So let me figure out how to share this. So this is going to be a home built by HomeCrete Homes. Sharing with you on a share screen.
Which new construction is very big right now. A lot of people are going to new construction because they can't find much on the market. And it's become a very big aspect where people can, if they can wait, it's a good option.
Yeah, and with us, it's going to take, and I'll start the video. It's going to take at least 10 months for us to do start to finish. And I'm just going to talk about new construction while this video is going. So what we do here at HomeCrete is we have a construction perm loan. So I'll explain the difference between construction perm loan and the end loan. So most production builders will give you an end loan, which means you close at the end when your keys are delivered to you. So here at HomeCrete, since we are a custom builder, we require a construction perm loan. So the main difference is that you will do your closing up front before we dig in the dirt. So once the day comes that you do your first closing, then we can start the permitting process. We can get the ball rolling, start the paperwork and start the land work and everything like that. So in the meantime, you will be paying construction interest only on your loan. So you won't have a full mortgage payment, but you will have some additional fees involved in it. And just to make the numbers easy, say our first draw from the bank is $50,000. So you'll pay the interest on that $50,000 for month 1 and 2. And then we'll get our next draw of, just to make numbers easy, another $50,000. And then you'll pay interest on that for the, month 3, blah, 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 up until we're completed with the home. So during that time, obviously it incrementally goes up, but it's never that much in regards to actually paying a mortgage. So I got off track a little bit, but with HomeCrete, that we do the construction perm loan, but during that time frame, we also allow you to make any kind of customizable changes. So we can make structural changes at no extra fees, no draft fees. But with that being said, we don't go back and forth with the architect like 10, 15 times. It's you get one shot, and we are very thorough up front to make sure that you know exactly what kind of house that you're building with us. But it's a really fun process. This house that I'm showing you right now was a house out in Palm City off of Martin Highway. So they were on 5 acres, and they have a lot of custom features in here. And so with the new construction specialists, we have 5 people that work here, and it's basically one of us is here every day, and we can help customize the house of your dreams, and we can do our best to make it fit within your budget. So there's needs and then there's wants. We all want the big, lavish, whatever it is that we want. And sometimes we can only afford this much. Working with a new construction specialist here at HomeCrete, you can have the best of both worlds because we can help you combine what you actually need and give you a couple of things that you want. If, say, your budget is $350, but you really want the house that's $400, we can help shave off some things and make it to where exactly what you want. So I think my video is probably almost over, and I've probably talked more than I should have, but I hope that maybe you guys can bring some of your customers in, and we can give you some pamphlets and some further information on how we here at HomeCrete work.
Absolutely. That was beautiful. That was a beautiful home. And I was like, can I live in the shower, please? Because I mean,
those are some of the things that we do is like, you know, our standards are really above some of the other builders' standards. And, you know, if you're living there and you only have this much extra to spend in your budget, let's spend it how you want. And let's upgrade your bathroom, or let's upgrade the kitchen how you want it. And, you know, you can do some other things after the fact. So it's a really nice option to have a new construction. You do have to wait for it, and that's probably the worst part. But waiting to get what you want versus settling for something that you don't really want, it is a better deal for the buyers.
Yeah, as long as you're in a situation where you can wait, it absolutely is. And that's why
another live.
Yeah, that's a whole nother live. Yeah, absolutely. And it's, you know, really just understanding your situation and what's going to be best for you. I mean, that's a conversation you have with your realtor when you sit down and you say, okay, what's your time frame? Where you at? These are your options. And yeah, new construction's definitely trying to keep up with the masses, because we have a lot of people come here to Florida for a lot of different reasons, especially to the Treasure Coast, our beautiful coast here, for many reasons, and it's growing quite a bit, and new construction's growing with that. So it's exciting to see all the different changes, and just to know like those different aspects. And that's why I love having these calls and the Market Update Mondays with you local professionals, because everybody has different pieces of the market that they're working in. The fact that you're in new construction, and then some people are doing different areas. It's just always great to hear the well-roundedness of everyone's stuff that they bring on. So appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
all right.
I wanted to ask one question here. Actually, I heard a statistic recently that like new construction just in St. Lucie County is like a minimum of 10,000 new homes planned to come in a short period of time. I've never really seen, you know, like we can say what's on inventory, because like this is a house ready to buy, what's on inventory. But in reality, I guess in new construction, there's a lot of potential inventory for the future that's coming, but maybe you could buy it now, especially since it's going to wait. So that might be a good option for people who just can't find a house today, to say, I'm going to wait a little bit longer. And instead of waiting for, you know, something to come on and settle with, maybe new construction is my better option.
So, and I like that you threw out that number of 10,000 homes. And so I'm going to do a couple of statistics for you. So as of right now, within the city limits of Port St. Lucie, if we continue to build, and this is only within the city, it's not the county, okay? So if we continue to build at the rate that we're building out now, we will only have 15 months left of buildable land, okay? 15 months left. So again, that's only within the city. Now let's talk about the Tradition area out there between Becker and Village, or not Village Parkway, Gatlin. So that area is where the majority of that number is coming from, because they're doing the planned developments out there. And those are more along the lines of the 0 lot lines. So you can fit a few more houses per acre in those developments. And so they're building a lot out there. I mean, they're building neighborhoods with thousands of homes, and they're sold out for 16 months. Like you could go, I could bring you there today and sell you a house, and you won't move in for at least 16 months. And you really don't get to choose that much. You get to choose like option A package or option B package. And so it's nice to know that like there is light at the end of the tunnel. But if you're going to be building something, you really want to build something that you want, and it's worth the wait. So just another little tidbit of knowledge, just try to choose someone or some builder that gives you an option, versus do you want the blue house on Apple Street, or do you want the green house on ABC Street? You know, it's do something that actually is worth the wait for you as a consumer. So off my soapbox.
Oh no, I you know what? I don't see this so much. That was tremendous information to share. So thank you.
Yeah,
I agree. Always great to see the different perspectives of things. I mean, that's what we're here for. And you know, guys, if you guys are listening to this right now and you guys are just hearing this from an outside perspective, there's so many moving parts that are going on, and so many little facets, but that's great information to hear. And the local professionals who are coming on here to share this information with you, they're taking time out of their busy schedules to do this for you guys. So we're all crazy in real estate right now, but the ones who are taking the time out of their days to share with you what they're seeing in the market and what they're doing and how to be most effective in this market, these are the ones that are going to take the extra time to make sure that you guys are taken care of at the end of the day. So I very much appreciate every one of you guys coming on here to share your big brains in real estate with us and everyone that is watching us live, because it's YouTube. And what will be really cool is to watch back at all of the videos that we've done in the past and look back at it in a year and see. I mean, it's already been a year since we started doing these, which is crazy. I might have to do like a throwback series.
It's changed a lot in the last year, because it was a very, I feel like it was more like a dark cloud over us at that point when we started this, and we didn't know there was light at the end of the tunnel. And now at least we're breathing, we know what's happening, and we see the trends. So
are we breathing?
I think I'm breathing. I wasn't breathing well then, but I'm breathing well now.
Yeah, there's been a lot that's changed. And honestly, in the beginning, because nobody knew how long COVID was going to last. I mean, we still don't really know how long it's going to last, but there was so much uncertainty in the beginning and so many what ifs, and navigating those and thinking about how things were going to change. I mean, everybody was giving an opinion, but nobody knew how that opinion was going to pan out. But it's interesting that a lot of our opinions and how we thought things were going to kind of panned out, as we said, too. So which is very interesting, you know, when you've noticed the market and how, you know, over time, and you look at how things relate to each other and such, it's very interesting to see. That's why it's so important to get these well-rounded opinions from everyone, because everybody's experienced different pieces of it all. So always great information from you guys. And I want to give you guys an opportunity to be able to showcase or tell anybody if there's anything coming up. People should keep an eye out. If you guys haven't already, go to their Facebook pages, like their Facebook pages, because whenever they do have something that comes up, it's there. And it's good to follow local realtors, and just they'll update you on the key things that are happening in our market and what to be aware of. So we'll start with Peter. Peter, do you have something to share?
Unfortunately, I don't have anything directly within the next week, but I guarantee you, if you reach out to me in 2 days, I will have something. But if you wait 4 days, it will already be gone. So act fast.
I like that. I like that. Oh, well, guys, I better put it on your calendar to reach out to Peter in 2 days. Oh, gosh. What about you, Demitri? Anything coming up?
Well, you know, similar to Peter, I have nothing today, but I have a listing appointment when I finish this, and I might have one tomorrow. We'll see.
Love the coming soons. Sounds like an even better option to go to their Facebook pages and like them.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Something. Go to the horse's mouth themselves rather than wait for it to be on the market. And the coming soons. Yeah. So Stacy, what about you?
No, I don't actually have any listings coming soon that I can 100% guarantee to you. But what I can guarantee is that I'll be at Home Create Homes every Monday for an open house. And whenever else you want to meet me here, so you could call me and I will get my booty here and I will help you build a house, because only thing coming soon in your life is a brand new home. You like that?
I love this. We gotta do like a pitch day one day.
That was good.
Pitch yourself.
I mean, that's what I do. So let's do it together.
We might have to have a fun Monday one week. Love it. All right, guys, that is awesome. Make sure you guys go to their Facebook pages, follow them. Thank you to the local professionals who have come on here to share their big brains in real estate. If you guys are just tuning in now and you didn't hear the conversation before, rewind, rewatch, and listen to it. Also, go check out, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, you can always rewatch these videos on our YouTube channel, Arrow Title Services, which is linked in the description as well. And you guys can go ahead and rewatch some of our other videos. Go back to last April. Listen to what we were talking about and how the market has changed. professional advice and perspective that people are giving. Obviously, we don't put a stamp on our opinion here and say that that's exactly what's going to happen. We're talking about what's happening in our market right now. And sometimes we're talking about what we predict is going to happen in the future. And nobody has a crystal ball, but it's interesting to see those different perspectives and how it's fluctuating. So just stay tuned and alert, guys. We are on here every single week, but with different videos. So this week is Market Update Monday. Next week is Thursday's Top Tips in Real Estate, where we talk about the buying side of things, tips for buyers. And then we'll be back again the following week with another Market Update Monday with local realtors who are going to showcase listings if they got them, but also tell you what's going on in the market and how things have changed, especially as we start to get into the summer months, where we'll see if there's a change. Usually in our area there is a change, but maybe not this year. We'll see. So that'll be a good conversation to tune into. We hope you guys have a great rest of your week and happy Monday. And thank you again to the local professionals who are on here. We'll see you guys again soon.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you.